Supposed to give a paper on responding to the President's Democracy Day address. If you leave me, I'll just write one sentence and I'll just go. Yes, the address was long, but I just came up with just a few lines, just to, if I was to summarize my opinion about the address. The first one, everything is improving except what Nigerians actually experience. Another one, prosperity is coming, suffering arrived much earlier. Statistics celebrate progress, citizens continue enduring hardship. Nigeria is thriving, according to the government report. Hope is abundant. Relief remains under construction. The future is bright. The present disagrees strongly. And finally, government sees progress. Citizens see rising struggles. Distinguished guests, political stakeholders, members of the media and patriotic Nigerians, I thank COPAC for creating this platform for constructive democratic engagement. Today, I stand here neither as an enemy of the government nor as a defender of failure. I stand as a Nigerian citizen who believes that democracy flourishes when truth is spoken with courage, responsibility, and patriotism. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Democracy Day address was hopeful, ambitious, and filled with assurances about security, economic reforms, democratic consolidation, and national prosperity. Many of these aspirations contained in that speech are noble. The challenge before us, however, is not whether the speech was inspiring. The challenge is whether the realities of ordinary Nigerians reflect the optimism contained in that speech. Democracy must not only be proclaimed, it must be experienced. The President rightly reminded us that Nigeria has enjoyed 27 years of uninterrupted civilian rule. That achievement deserves recognition. But democracy is not merely the absence of the military rule. Democracy means citizens can live with dignity. It means justice is accessible. Democracy means institutions are stronger than individuals. Democracy means government remains accountable to be governed. The question before us today is not whether Nigeria is democratic. The question is whether democracy is working for the majority of Nigerians. For millions of citizens, democratic participation ends on election day, while suffering resumes the next morning. He spoke about the microeconomic success, and when it doesn't reach the kitchen table, the President stated that the reforms have restored confidence, increased government revenues, improved transparency, and attracted investment. I don't know where. Those achievements may indeed exist on paper. However, democracy is not measured by the government balance sheets. It is measured by the household balance sheets. The average Nigerian woman buying food in the market is not asking about fiscal reforms. She's asking why a bag of rice costs several times what it cost a few years ago. The young graduate is not asking about investor confidence. He's asking where the jobs are. The small business owner is not studying foreign direct investment figures. She's wondering how to keep her shop open and amid rising costs. The reality remains. Food prices remain painfully high. Transportation costs remain unbearable. Small businesses continue to struggle. Purchasing power has collapsed. The middle class is shrinking. I don't even know if I'm poor or rich. Government remains a serious challenge. Economic reforms should not only stabilize indicators, they must improve lives. If growth is happening, but hunger is expanding, then government must ask difficult questions. If investment is increasing, but poverty is growing, then something in the system requires urgent correction. In terms of security, the numbers may improve, but fear remains. The president stated that terrorism-related deaths have reduced and that thousands of terrorists have been neutralized. We commend every member of the armed forces risking their lives for Nigeria. However, citizens do not experience security through statistics. They experience it through daily life. A mother whose child cannot safely return to school does not feel secure. A farmer who cannot access his farmland does not feel secure. A community living under the threat of bandits does not feel secure. A family negotiating ransom for a kidnapped relative does not feel secure. As we gather here today, the nation remains shaken by the abduction of the children in Oyo and Borno states. The president rightly described security as the foundation of democracy. But security cannot be declared. It must be felt. The true measure of security is not the number of operations conducted. It is whether Nigerians can sleep peacefully. Let me come to the Iroele warning, a lesson we continue to ignore. As I reflect on the state of our nation, I was reminded of the words of Chief Obafemi Awolowo. For decades, Awolowo warned that neglecting education, poverty reduction, and human development would create future instability. Many dismissed him. History did not. Today, insecurity, unemployment, social unrest, and widespread poverty are symptoms of decades of neglect. The young man carrying a weapon today may be the child who never entered a classroom. A criminal economy thriving today often grows where legitimate economic opportunities do not exist. The greatest long-term security strategy is not military expenditure. It is education. It is skills development. It is economic inclusion. It is hope. When young people lose hope, society becomes vulnerable. When citizens lose faith, opportunity, democracy becomes fragile. Now the crisis of governance is also a crisis of trust. Perhaps Nigeria's greatest challenge today is not inflation, it is trust. Citizens increasingly distrust institutions. They distrust promises, they distrust political leaders, they distrust the fairness of the system. Many Nigerians now believe that justice depends on influence, that opportunities depend on connections, that government only listens during elections. This erosion of trust is dangerous. No democracy can thrive where citizens lose confidence in institutions. Trust is rebuilt through transparency. Trust is rebuilt through accountability. And trust is rebuilt when leaders live by the same sacrifices demanded by citizens. Not the one that I'm riding Okada, somebody is riding a Cadillac. Local government autonomy, the right idea, but implementation is key. The president emphasized local government autonomy. On this point, many Nigerians agree. Development must reach the grassroots, but autonomy alone is not enough. Local governments must also become accountable. Corruption cannot simply be decentralized. Resources must translate into schools, healthcare, roads, water, and local economic opportunities. The true test of autonomy is service delivery. To the government, I can easily get picked up outside now, just because I decide to say my mind and what I feel. One of the most encouraging lines in the president's speech was, criticize me, disagree with me, but never stop believing in Nigeria. Mr. President, Nigerians have not stopped believing in Nigeria. They're simply asking the government believe in Nigerians enough to hear their pain. Criticism is not sabotage. Opposition is not disloyalty. Dissent is not an act of war. In every thriving democracy, opposition serves as a mirror. Sometimes mirrors reveal uncomfortable truths. But breaking that mirror does not change reality. A confident government welcomes scrutiny because accountability strengthens democracy. So, what should happen next? If we truly seek economic freedom and democratic prosperity, several urgent actions are required. Declare food security as a national emergency by supporting farmers through security irrigation, mechanization, access to credit, and storage facilities. No nation can prosper while its citizens are hungry. Launch a national youth employment and skills program. Millions of young Nigerians require meaningful opportunities. Training without jobs is frustration delayed. Prioritize education as a security strategy. Reduce out-of-school children dramatically. Invest in teachers. Upgrade public schools. Strengthen technical and vocational education. Reduce the cost of governance. Leadership must visibly share the burden of sacrifice. Citizens are more willing to endure hardship when leaders demonstrate restraint. Strengthen community-based security architecture. National security must be complemented by stronger intelligence gathering, local collaboration, and grassroots vigilance. Expand school protection. Economic reforms must be accompanied by targeted support for vulnerable citizens. The poorest Nigerians cannot be left alone to absorb the cost of reform. Build a national consensus on development. Nigeria cannot continue operating in permanent political conflict. Government, opposition, civil societies, labor, traditional institutions, women, and youth must collectively shape national priorities. And to the Nigerian youth, the President urged young people to stay and build Nigeria. I want to jump out if I can get an opportunity. I agree, but patriotism must be matched with opportunity. Young Nigerians are not leaving because they hate Nigeria. Many are leaving because they fear that hard work alone no longer guarantees success. The challenge before government is not merely to ask young people to stay. It is to create reasons for them to stay. Give them quality education. Give them jobs, security, justice. Give them hope, and they will build Nigeria. So in conclusion, the President's address spoke of hope. Hope is necessary, but hope alone cannot feed a hungry family. Hope alone cannot secure a village. Hope alone cannot create jobs. Hope alone cannot educate a child. Hope must be matched by measurable action. The heroes of June 12 did not struggle merely for civilian rule. They struggled for freedom, justice, accountability, and opportunity. Their dream was not simply that Nigerians would vote. Their dream was that Nigerians would thrive. Nigeria would thrive, and Nigerians as well. As we commemorate Democracy Day, let us remember, a democracy is strongest not when the leaders are praised, but when citizens are heard. A nation progresses not when uncomfortable truths are silenced, but when they are confronted. And history ultimately judges governments not by their speeches, but by the lives of their people. May we build a Nigeria where democracy is not merely celebrated once a year, but experienced every day. A Nigeria where freedom is meaningful. A Nigeria where justice is real. A Nigeria where prosperity is shared. A Nigeria worthy of sacrifices for our heroes. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.